stop, oh, go, rock, freak, don't stop, oh, go, rock, freak, don't stop, oh, go, rock, freak, don't stop, oh.
Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put that ball in the Wednesday net? Super Tyrese Campbell.
That was Sean Needham, and this is the Sheffield United Hodcast. I'm Matt, and here as the Martin Riggs to my Roger Murta, it's Jonny.
Good morning.
So, Chris Wilder's come back, Jonny. We've just played at Bramall Lane, and it's ended in a very, very rainy defeat, 1-0 to Charlton. Initial thoughts on it before we run through what we're going to do today?
Yeah, there wasn't too much improvement. There was slightly more running about, a bit more aggression, getting stuck in. A couple of the players had better games than under the previous tenure. It was a bit of a smash and grab in the end. I don't think either side deserved to win. I think 0-0 probably would have been a fair result on reflection.
I think you're right. I think while neither team deserved to win, I don't think either team deserved to lose. It was a 0-0 written all over it, and I think that's what Wilder said as well, didn't he, in his post-match, that he thought that was about fair. Charlton didn't deserve to lose. We didn't deserve to win. They didn't really do enough to win it, but managed to. So, Wilder came back. Atmosphere, I thought, was great to start. Wilder acknowledged that himself in his post-match. He said about how he felt the fans had tried to lift us in a bit of a dry and dull, miserable first half. But they didn't give us a lot to shout about, really. So it soon waned as the first half went on. We'll jump straight through the team and the lineup. We'll talk a little bit about what happened in the match. There wasn't much. You're going to do your player ratings, aren't you, Jonny? And then we're going to do our discussion item, which is trimming the fat from the squad. Although, to be honest, based on yesterday's performance, it's still looking very, very lean. We've got an apology and a correction to offer to one of friends of the pod. And then we'll preview the Oxford game. Sound all right to you?
Yeah.
So, United lined up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. We've gone for Cooper in goal. Godfrey retained his position at right back. More on that in a bit. McGuinness and Tanganga were the two centre-halves. Burrows at left back. Peck and Matos, that young pairing in midfield. Ogbeni on the right wing. Hamer on the left wing. O'Hare, I think he was supposed to be playing a 10 role. And Campbell was up front on his own. Any thoughts on the lineup, Jonny?
Yeah, the lineup was pretty much as expected. Maybe I did say earlier that I thought may have played instead of McGuinness. However, you can't really fault the lineup.
No, I think it was probably the what people expected. I mean, everyone's going to debate Ben Godfrey starting at right back, but I think it was what we'd really expected from what we got available. So the match itself, I don't think there were anything really in that first half at all of note. Charlton dragged a couple of decent chances wide on the counter. Tyrese Campbell, great name, dragged one wide. They dragged another one wide earlier. Hamer fizzed one over the bar. Sidney Peck had a chance, which he blazed over. Ogbeni missed a header, but it was really tame. Campbell didn't do anything. Ogbeni grew into the game a little bit in that first half. He managed to get a bit more on the ball, running more directly at them, which threatened them slightly, but wasn't a lot happening. The moment of note, really, in the first half was probably Cooper's double save. Saved a header, which was quite acrobatically saved as well, and then he managed to get down and block out a terrible second attempt from Charlton. And that was it. Half-time was absolutely teaming it down. I think the queues on the cop for a pint were only about 4 deep. Still managed to take 10 minutes to get served, but, you know. We were talking to someone at half-time, and I said that first half reminded me of the poorer performances last season. So it was a step up on where we'd been this season, but still nothing like what we'd really want from players of this quality. Second half started, and I think we just got progressively worse, didn't we, as the game went on. again, Charlton had a couple of runs in behind, threatening us. Campbell missed a chance from the edge of the box, which got blocked. And then Peck, again, he just can't shoot. Absolutely skied one into the cop. I don't really think we had another decent attempt at all. We flicked one in, which Campbell headed wide. And then that last 10 minutes, we just looked nervous again. And it's just a bunch of errors in the last few minutes that lead to Charlton's goal. McGuinness and Tanganga don't really talk. Tanganga goes charging out to win a header, misses it. McGuinness doesn't tuck in behind properly and leaves a lot of space. That leaves their winger, once he gets the flick on with a 1v1 with Burrows and Sariki. Well, I think you were watching the pigeons nesting in the top of the John Street stand because he just didn't pick up his man at all and he bundles it in under Cooper. And that was that in the rain. And the Charlton fans were absolutely delirious and we couldn't believe it. Not great at all. Wilder said it wasn't great. I didn't think it was great. It was better than what it has been, but that's a very, very low bar. To be honest, I ain't got much more to say on that absolute shower of a performance. I don't know if you want to go through your player ratings, Jonny.
Yeah, just quickly before player ratings, we never felt like we were actually going to score, go and open them up. It's that old adage of if you're not going to win the game, just make sure you don't lose it as well. We went a bit full throttle last 5 minutes and went out of positions and yeah, it just looked scrappy. Disappointed with the goal again. It was very similar to the Millwall goal, to be fair. Apart from they won the knockdown and then straight through. However, McGuinness should be the one going to challenge for that ball and Tanganga sitting off. He's 6'5".
Do you think that's because they're not used to playing together yet?
No, I think it's basics. Your main ball winner should be going and attacking the ball, and your quality centre half should be dropping off. So
It should. You're right there. The other thing that you've got to note in all that was that McGuinness should be dropping off and playing a little bit deeper and or going and attacking it, as you say. They've just not got that understanding yet. That's the issue. The understanding's not there between the two of them. You're right, it was similar to the Millwall goal, absolutely. I'll give you that as well. I just feel there's just a massive hole in the team at the minute, in the middle of the park, and then, as you said, there's no threat going forward, which means we've got to be perfect at the back, absolutely perfect, and can't make half mistakes because teams will pick us off. Because a big long ball like that did us. Well, we said it, haven't we? It's just not good enough. Do you want to jump into your player ratings then?
yeah, so I've gone for Cooper. I've given him a 5 purely because he made that outstanding save in the first half. I just think his ball distribution and his all commanding of his area doesn't look great at the minute still, but he gets a 5 based on that brilliant save. Godfrey, I thought first half in particular was really poor. He looked a yard off it, slow at reacting. Giving him a 3.
To be honest, I think Godfrey was as bad as he was Friday. It's just that the quality of opposition was nowhere near.
Yeah, he's a centre half, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the issue.
But he just looked shot. He looked shot mentally. He looked shot physically. He just was off it, completely off. He just didn't know where to be. He made Tyrese Campbell, their Tyrese Campbell, look like an absolute world beater at times. Again, he just doesn't look the player that I thought Ben Godfrey was. And I heard it said on the Sheffield United way that, he's got 2 England caps. Well, I think we might be in line for 2 England caps if Godfrey's got 2 England caps based on how he's playing at the minute for us. I've interrupted you anyway. Carry on.
Yeah, so touched on McGuinness with a goal. I feel he should go and challenge for that ball, being the height he is and our best header of the ball. However, I do think he had an all right game. We did look slightly better at the back. I've given him a 5. Tanganga, I've given him a 4. I don't like the right-footed centre-half at left centre-back.
Yeah, we said this, but that's because you like him being able to kick it further.
Yeah, I'd like Ben being there. just for that balance. I mean, there are a couple of times Tanganga is trying to carry the ball out, and he's having to change onto his right foot all the time, and it just looks a bit awkward.
But he did carry it out though, which no one else was doing.
No.
Our midfielders weren't driving. I mean, Peck drove more this time than what he has in previous games, but at least Tanganga had a go at doing that.
Yeah. So then we've got Burrows. I actually thought it was Burrows' better game. He looked more of a threat going forward. He looked a bit more composed on the ball. However, he still only gets a 5. I haven't given any players above a 5, by the way, just because it was too bitty for the game. Peck, I've given him a 5. I thought he tried a lot harder. He ran around a lot more. He was showing a lot more effort. However, he just lacks that quality for... I don't think he had any goal contributions last season, assists or goals, and he doesn't look like doing so this year. Matos either needs some new studs in his boots or learning to stay on his feet, because every time the ball goes near him, he has to slide in or he tries to slide to block it, and yeah, it's just a strange one. He runs about a bit, but he's not the answer to replacing Vinny Souza.
No, and I wonder when Arblaster's fit, if Arblaster's ever fit, which one of those two gets dropped straight away for you, Peck or Matos?
I think you have to drop Matos based on last season, maybe, to try Peck and Arblaster. However, I've touched on it before, I would give Samari a chance because he's that bigger stature. He does the dirty work, and I think he could be a lesser version of Vinny Souza.
It does show you how good a player Arblaster is, though, when you think that Peck and Matos are a similar age, yet Arblaster won't be charging about like this, and he's got so much more control and discipline. Discipline being the big thing, just discipline in sticking to a position, not snatching at chances, not dinking little rubbish crosses into boxes because he's panicking when he's in that kind of position. Kind of person that can just get the ball, just beat one man or make a pass which will take someone out of the game. You don't get that from Peck. And we're not seeing that so far from Matos. And this is what I'm saying about that hole. It means our defenders have got to be practically perfect. And Tanganga's almost taking it upon himself to be a bit of a water carrier and drag the ball out from the back because no one else can do it.
So, move on to Bene. He doesn't look fit to me. I've given him a 4. He carried the ball a couple of times and you're thinking, go on, let's go and beat the man. But he never looked like getting around the man and taking him on. He isolated the defender one-on-one a couple of times and you're thinking, right, knock it past him. And he just never looked like doing that. O'Hare, headless chicken, I thought didn't involve himself in the game much. Given him a 4. Hamer back out on the left is what needs to happen, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion.
Faded, though.
Yeah, he faded out. Hamer, I gave him a 5. However, I think what impacted Hamer's game was that yellow card just before half time. It was never a yellow card. He won the ball. Linesman actually gave a throw in to United, and referee, who was 40 yards away, decided to book him. Who I thought the referee was very, very shaky and inconsistent. He was not the reason we lost the game.
No, but he played into Charlton's hands, didn't he? I mean, Charlton were masters of the dark arts, wasting time and, going down and claiming they've got cramp and what have you.
Yeah,
and he bought a lot of it, didn't he?
They disrupted the flow really well, and he warned the keeper 5 times about time wasting, and just have a pair and go and book him.
Yeah.
Just have a pair early and book him. Campbell, again, another one, he doesn't look fit in the slightest. I said to you in first half that he made a couple of runs in behind, which he hasn't done all season. So he was trying a bit more in that first half, but second half he was ineffective again. I've given him a 4. We're really lacking up top, in my opinion. Which goes back to that discussion we had a few episodes ago about that Kiefer Moore up McBurney focal figure, where when we're tired later on with 20 minutes to go, we could have chucked one of them on and pumped it a bit more and played for the second balls and the knockdowns. But
Well, this is where we were arguing about Kiefer Moore quite a bit. And as I said, I just thought good money for Kiefer Moore because of his age and the fact he'd been injured a lot. But the praise that I had for Kiefer Moore last season was because of his work rate and the fact that Kiefer Moore takes at least one, if not two opponents out of the game every time, which gives space for such as Hamer, space for such as Ogbene or O'Hare. Campbell at the minute just isn't doing that. I mean, he had that one snatch chance, didn't he, in the second half, and again a half header as well, didn't he, which should have been a corner, but the referee missed the deflection. He's not looking great at all at the minute. Campbell just looks a bit shot, doesn't he, in terms of confidence, and looks 3 or 4 yards off the pace. Yeah,
I'd be very surprised if January we don't bring in a big striker.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's got to be priority this time. So the substitutes, I thought Chong came on and looked lively. He looked okay. Looked lively, showed a few nice touches, showed attacking intent. Cannon non-existent again. I thought Sariki came on, replaced Godfrey, and looked poor. Sariki. His touches were bad. He passed it out of play a couple of times. He doesn't look the same as when he's at his best. That powerful attacking fullback, which we desperately need on that right hand side. So Samari didn't get enough minutes, and then the one I want to touch on was Louis Barry, who I thought was absolutely terrible, to be honest with you. He seemed to break up every one of our attacks by losing the ball or a poor touch, and there are a couple of times where you're thinking they pumped it up out wide, and he's not known for his height or winning headers, but at least challenge, and he stood 3 yards off the defender, just letting him have a free header. A couple of times the ball got played down line, and he's just not chased it down, so I can't see him being in the side much, to be honest with you.
No, it was very disappointing yesterday that when we made the substitutions, we actually got worse. And I think we both said or felt that the squad looked in a okay position. We've got a lot of players and a lot of depth now. Yet, when based on yesterday's evidence, if we're going to make subs and we're going to get worse, obviously that's not true because the depth can't be there. If when you make a change, you just get worse over time. What did you give Chris Wilder yesterday out of 10 for his management?
It was obviously it was slightly better than on the previous blow, but I'd give him a 5 purely because the players did seem more up for it. However, the substitutions that he made didn't affect the game in any way.
No.
He could have brought on Chong a bit earlier, maybe. Like I said, that yellow card hampered Hamer out wide. I don't think you were ever going to take him off. But he just went out of the game. I would look at playing Samari next game to give Pet that bit of support more in the middle. Have a big, strong lad in there. But yeah, I honestly think Wilder will go out and sign a big striker in January. I mean, my dad keeps saying that we need to go out and sign Bamford. Patrick Bamford, that is. And he would, to be fair, he would give another option, but where is the big...
He's another one, though, with injury record and what have you, and we've signed Danny Ings, who's injured.
Yeah.
Campbell's not known for his fitness. Cannon's crap. And Ryan O'Neill's about 5 years old, so... It's troubling, the lack of depth we've got up top. And you do... I mean, Wilder said it's not a formation thing yesterday, but you do wonder, do we alter the formation? And that might make things better because you've got 2 up top suddenly.
The only thing is there is to go to a 5 at the back, but you've got to have a good full-back on the right-hand side. And
Ogbene.
At the minute, Godfrey and Sariki don't look like that, and Ogbene don't look fit enough.
Ogbene's your answer.
We shall see.
Yes, we certainly shall. So, friend of the pod, Scott Sawyer, I owe you an apology. You don't worship Danny Roll. You said he's a turncoat now and a traitor, but you did used to. You've just got to admit it. Now, friend of the pod, Scott, did say United squad is looking a little bit bloated, and so did Chris Wilder. So Jonny and I have picked 3 players that we think Wilder will probably move on in January. I've certainly picked 3 that I think will move on, and I've gone for a bit of a cop out actually. But we'll do one each, and just take it in turns if that's all right by you, Jonny, on that. So my first one that I think will get moved on in January, I think Tyler Binden's going to go back. I don't think he'll get anywhere near this team at all. Just because we've signed Ben Mee, we've got Godfrey that can play centre-back, although based on his performances at full-back, that's worrying. We've signed Tanganga, we've signed Mark McGuinness, there's Sasanowskis, who obviously had that bit of a nightmare debut, but really, I don't think we need Tyler Binden around the squad. It's a wasted loan for me, so I won't be surprised if Tyler Binden goes back to Forest. Who's your first one to be fired or jumped out, thrown off the ship?
Yeah, I think Barry might go back in January if he don't start pulling up any trees. He's going to be ineffective in the system. Hamer's going to play wide on the left, and that is Barry's best position. So I do feel that he's one that could go back to free up another loan.
Yeah, well, Barry was going to be my number 2 as well. I think Barry will probably go back. He doesn't look fit. There was that early promise that he showed against Bristol, but that has been it. I mean, he ran about a little bit against Swansea away. A few times there, right back did look like he was panicking when Barry ran at him. And again, against Millwall, he did it a little bit up against Ryan Leonard, but it's not been anywhere near enough. And yesterday, when he came on, he was a genuine hindrance on that right-hand side. He made us worse, which is it's not a good position to be in. The only thing that might save Barry is I wonder if he might give him a go through the middle if things don't improve. You do wonder, it's an option, or does he drop him almost into that 10 role behind Campbell and let the two just interchange, because Callum O'Hare ain't pulling any trees up at all. So you do wonder what the future holds for Louis Barry, because it's not been great thus far during his loan spell with us. Who's your second one, Jonny?
So my second one to go in January would be Tom Cannon. And
Think that's realistic, though?
I can't. He's not going to improve our side. He doesn't look like getting involved in the squad anytime soon. He came on yesterday, and did we know he'd come on?
No.
So try and offload, get rid of some of them wages, and look for an obligation to buy something, a loan out, an obligation to buy, and put that money into a big striker, like we said.
Yeah, it's the thing is with Cannon, I do agree with you insofar as it's not worked, and it smells as bad as the Brewster signing did. But I think realistically, is anyone going to take Tom Cannon?
Yeah, I think there were interest, weren't there, in August from Preston.
Yeah.
Oh, they're having a good start, so if he signs there, it might derail their season, so you never know.
Oh, yeah, you're right there. Third one for me that I think will go, I would not be surprised if Andre Brooks goes. Now, that could be on loan, they could let him go, but it wouldn't surprise me if Andre Brooks goes out. Now, he got dropped for quite a period last season, didn't he, for his prolificacy and wasting of chances. It's difficult with Brooks because I don't mind him as a player, and he's strong and he's fast, and when he's good, he can be terrifying. But it's the inconsistency, and he's at that stage now where you thought it would just start clicking for him a little bit more. But that night at Ipswich, he was absolutely appalling. He's done nothing all season, and then he got nowhere near yesterday. You know, you're looking at Benny was tiring. We bring Louis Barry on, who was worse. It's a bit of a warning shot for Andre Brooks that he can't get near the side when we're this poor. So I wouldn't be surprised if Brooks moves on in January, whether, like I say, that's a loan or we do let him go somewhere else. So Andre Brooks would probably be my third one. I'm just going to chuck one more in as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see Samari go back. Now, I think it would be a shame if that was to happen because he's not played. But I think the fact that he's not playing and there's a fee involved in this loan, I wouldn't be surprised to see Samari go back and us try and recoup some money and try and save a little bit, because obviously if we're not going to go up, which is looking increasingly unlikely, we're going to have to save some money somewhere quite quickly. I've done 2 extra there, Johnny. An extra one there, Johnny, because I'm greedy. Who's your third one to go?
It's just a squad player. I think Louis Marshall will go out on loan in January. It's a wasted young talent being sat in 21s. He needs to go out and get some football. So, yeah, I think Louis Marshall will be going out.
Yeah, Marsh is another one who's... But then again, to be honest, with O'Hare playing like he is in that 10 role and Campbell being horrendous up front and Ings not fit, do you give Louis Marshall running the side?
There's a big difference, isn't there, to Championship football and under-21s, and appreciate he's been tearing it up in 21s, but I just think get him out into League One, give him some experience, make him a bit more of a man, and take it from there for next season.
All right, okay. I think that might be a smart move for Marsh and let him have a bit of a run around. Like I say, it wasn't great yesterday. It was better, but the bar was very, very low. Any final thoughts on Charlton or players moving in and out before we talk Oxford next week?
Yeah, just a very quick one on the actual game and situation Wilder's come into it. I actually said on the last pod that I fancied us to win, and I was really, really confident that we would. I just, like Wilder said, come out and said that there's a lot more fragility in that squad than you realise. They look shattered on confidence. They don't look fit. I don't know what they've been doing, and it proves that they can't have been putting in much effort in training for the previous regime because they don't look fit. And I was saying that to you in the first half yesterday. Yeah,
but see, this is why though I made the point earlier that this was like the poor performances last season, in that it was better than Sayers' matches, no doubt about that. It was better, and Sean messaged me at half time and said that was a better first half than what we've had all season. It wasn't good by any stretch, but it was like the bad games last season, the poor games, the games where we really struggled to... That Plymouth match at home, where we won, 2-0? Didn't play very well, but...
Scored.
Yeah, we scored and saw it out.
We had the bits of quality in that game to do it, and we were just lacking that confidence. But if you think when we had the Plymouth game, we were winning games, so the confidence was there to turn a poor game into a 1-0 or a 2-0 win. Whereas at the minute the confidence isn't there. So
yeah, I think you're right, and it's he's got his work cut out. And what was interesting, he made the remark, didn't he, that he might have underestimated the impact that this poor start has had on the players. I think while that's all well and good at, noticing that and bringing that up, I do think this rot's been a little bit longer. We've now gone it's 1-2. Obviously, we lost the playoff final. We're now, how many matches have we lost in a row? Is it 8?
Yeah, you can't count last season into it. I don't think there's new players in there, so you can't count last season. I just think there's been a lot more damage done at the start of this year than we actually realised, and we were expecting him to come in and galvanise them and get them really up for it, which I think they were more up for it, but they just looked that bit void of ideas, and like I said, that fitness isn't there for me.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully another week in training and we'll see where we are. So a week in training will take us up to the Oxford match, which is next Saturday. It's a relegation 6-pointer, the only other team in the league not to win. What do you think, Johnny, we will do next week? What's your score prediction for Sheffield United versus Oxford?
Well, obviously we lost there last season in a game where we were on a high before that. And that seemed to be the turning point in ours. They're awkward, very similar to Charlton.
Gary Rowett's side.
You look at their players, not one of them gets in our side. However...
Well, we just signed Alex Matos.
It's going to be dogged, and we're going to have to come out of it. We're going to have to come out of it with a win. I'm going for a 1-0 next week.
Which way?
To us.
1-0 to United?
Yes.
Next week? Brave. Yeah, I think you're right. Oxford, it'll be dogged, it'll be hard. Set piece side. Last season we got done on a long throw, didn't we? Not a great performance. If you remember at the end, that's when Wilder was arguing with a few of the fans. I were on holiday, watched it while I were in Cornwall, that one. Wasn't great at all. I think we'll draw, and I'm usually quite optimistic, but I think we'll draw on Saturday at Oxford. I could see us scoring a goal, something quite late to snatch a draw back, but we just look so devoid of confidence and ideas, and it's putting together passages of play. They're just not happening. You know, those moves and that running and hitting the channel, and you know, someone drops into the pocket and gets the ball, and then there's 2 or 3 runners either side. We're not seeing that at the minute. No plays are being put together, no passages or patterns of plays either. So I could see us struggling again. I could see us labouring to a 1-1 or a 2-2. I mean, just looking at what the bookies have put together, you know, United are even money to win.
Yeah, there should be a note on the end of that. No, it's poor odds, to be fair. Even money on a side who's lost every game.
Remember, if anyone is listening to this, please gamble responsibly. That's what you have to do if you're going to gamble into Jonny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to gamble responsibly.
I just think we've got to have that turning point soon, and maybe a changing look for what we need, and just they've got to go there and just find a way next week.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? The win's got to come, and that's all that's going to matter now. It's not going to be style. We need substance, you know. And Wilder said it as well. It's not old school. It's right school, and we just need the right school to win a game now. That's the big thing for us, because the longer this goes on, you say that we're too good to go down. Everyone kept saying this about Luton last year, and look what happened. You know, everyone said it about that Leicester side that Brendan Rodgers had in the Premier League, that they were too good to go down, and they sleptwalked to relegation. Luton the same last year. It's a troubling time, but we will see. Any favourite memories of Oxford? Any favourite players, Jonny, that might have played for both teams that you'd like to mention in our little hod or pod?
Just the one of Bobby Ford.
Bobby Ford. We're
Yeah.
a team of Bobby Fords.
Throwback to Bobby Ford. He's one of them guys who's had nothing to do with football after he's left as well. He's disappeared off the face of the earth.
Do you know how much money United spent to sign Bobby Ford?
Now go on.
£400,000 they spent on Bobby Ford.
Cracking player in a time of no quality. So, yeah, ran about. Bit
Yeah.
of a ratter. So
Yeah.
got stuck in. That's what we need.
That's it. Went back to Oxford after he'd left us as well, Bobby Ford. Just a team of Bobby Fords. Those were the dark days, weren't they? So, leaving you with Bobby Ford in your heads. If you don't know who Bobby Ford is, have a look. Look at Bobby Ford. He was a dark time for Sheffield United when Bobby Ford was one of your better players. I've been Matt. He's been Jonny. I'm going to hand us over to Sean to play us out. Hopefully, it's Stay Up Blades.
Don't stop,